Alright, we should be getting started real quick. I am not Darko, by the way, if you totally didn't know that. But if you don't know Darko, he streams no mic, so I'm gonna be here keeping you guys company for a little bit, since I'm totally and completely a romancing SaGa 3 expert. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. So welcome to Romancing SaGa 3. If you watched SaGa 2016, then you'll remember this game was actually run then as well. And it went pretty decently until it kind of fell apart at the very end. And we should be not seeing such a thing like that, because while this is essentially the same category, it will be using, in some ways anyway, it will be using RNG manipulation. So you should be seeing the exact same results in important battles every single time. Otherwise, you may have also noticed this game is actually the marathon twice, because this will be a full game run, and tomorrow's Romancing SaGa 3 run will be a lot shorter. So yeah, you can enjoy the full run tonight, and then you can get to see it get broken tomorrow. Kind of like one of the mainstays of the SaGa series is how there are multiple different characters you can play in this game. And Darko will be going with Katarina and picking up a handful of other different characters as well, but we'll be seeing the opening cutscenes for her. And you can totally enjoy all this Japanese cutscenes that I'm sure you can definitely read and figure out, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure people have, but not anybody that I know personally. I've just only seen this route every single time, which doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot, but it is what it is. Because we're running the J version, Darko follows all the typical JRTA shenanigans, if you will. So he starts from power on. Typically manipulation you'd be doing from some hard resets and some soft resets anyway. And he would normally be timing through the credits. And since it's a JRTA, he is also free to use turbo. No big deal. And he's quite good at keeping up with chat most of the time. So if you got questions, especially ones that I don't know anything about, then he'll probably be able to answer you as well. So me being here is, totally reasonable. But he's going to be just sifting through cutscenes for the next 4 minutes or so. I guess we can go through a little bit of background. So, it's kind of like a fairly rich lore for the game of like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, certain things going down, eclipses that destroy the world, and then someone is able to withstand the eclipse and basically rules over the world, but is like totally evil, and releases other evil lords to do his bidding, and then he disappears, and then another person is set to come up and be that hero again, and maybe, just maybe, you'll see some of that in action during this run. I don't know. Aside from that, you'll also see a lot of the kind of staple mechanics, sparking, dodging encounters, right? Random enemy movement. There's some weird like army battles that happen too. I don't know that has any part of the speedrun, but and they're not particularly great either. But point being that there's some weird stuff in this game too. I mean, it's a SaGa game. How could it not be? I don't know if you saw, but he got on a boat. Yeah. You can cue your own Lonely Island song if you want. This music, though, I like it. Alright, so I think Darko just picked up his first party member. And if I know my stuff correctly, he should be doing some shopping right now. He's going to buy a couple axes. There they are. And then he's just going to be hitting some triggers. Alright, so you might notice a lot of the times Darko is doing stuff in buildings and screens and whatnot. He'll actually just kind of seemingly warp out. There's a mechanic in the game, if you just hit the X button in most areas, not all of them, it'll actually teleport you out and put you in the previous screen. So instead of walking his way out of the house after talking to the NPC like a sucker, he can just mash the X button, or hit the X button rather, and then it'll actually take him out of the house. So it's, anytime you can do something like that, of course, it's going to save you a little bit of time. So X is tends to be the text mashing button of choice because it'll actually get you out of where you're at. So it's pretty cool. Just one of those little things that, maybe save you a second or less each time. But if you're going to be doing it almost all the time, then obviously something like that adds up. I believe he also picked up a third-party member, Nora. Yeah, I think that already happened. And the first kind of dungeon he wants to head to now is the Devil's Palace. Yeah, right up here. So you may be seeing him reset. Maybe. It mostly depends. Yeah, so you can kind of see there already, the enemies kind of pop in and out, their movement's random, much like any other game you'd be used to. If you happen to run into them, then you're going to get in the encounter, and he's going to have to run away from them every single time. He does not, I repeat, does not want to fight anything, or else it messes up his manipulation. There's essentially two ways to get around this. You're seeing him pause a lot to buffer, to kind of see where the enemy is moving, and so he can kind of plan his walking route. One of the other things you can do too is that you can hard power the game and hard power it back on, and as long as you enter your game frame perfectly and play frame perfectly, they're also going to be they're gonna make the same movement pattern. So you can route your walk that way too. Obviously you lose some time doing that, and so it was Darko's prerogative, it looks like, to just kind of wing it and see what happens. It can be a really frustrating speedrun in that regard, because you never quite know what the enemies are going to do. And they actually keep moving even after you escape the battle, so you can actually kind of get locked into like a never-ending like battle after battle after battle with the same enemy over and over again. It gets really frustrating. And so when you have manipulation of their movement at your disposal, it makes these dungeons a lot easier to get through, especially quickly. But as you can see, Darko is just kind of making it happen. He has no need for manipulation right now. But the option was there if he wanted it. Okay, so you're seeing a quick save. And then some dodging, so that's our first encounter there. And you're seeing he's gonna run again. He's not gonna fight anything extra at all, or else it will mess up the entire rest of the run. Ooh! And you saw the quick save in the beginning of the room. I would guess most likely in case if he gets kind of owned like this, maybe he can kind of put himself in a better situation. This game definitely has a run function. Yeah, this game is on the Super Famicom, but I think it came pretty late in the lifetime. So it was kind of right up there with like advancement of FF6, I think, somewhere abouts. He'll be doing some menuing here, equipping axes, taking off some armor. He's going to soft reset, and then immediately enter his game and immediately move down. All of that stuff is buffered. And because of that, this fight should go exactly a specific way that he intends, and he should be getting specific sparks and things like that too. Like all of this should be, yeah, exactly. All of this happened according to plan just because of the exact frame that he's on. So anytime he does need to use manipulation, it has to be frame perfect all the way through. His movement, his inputs, his even just loading the game, all have to be frame perfect most of the time, if not all the time. You can just buffer all that. Sometimes it's just like changing the menu window, like back and forth, things like that, to make sure things happen the way that you want it to. So in this case, for everybody that he had, he was going to buffer the right to move to the next window and hold A so that he would input the first command as fast as humanly possible, so on and so forth. And that allowed Hydra, I think his name is, spark a dimensional chop, which killed everybody. So you should be expecting a lot of those kinds of things. There are no glitches that he's using. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are no major glitches that he's using. There are game-breaking glitches in this game, for sure. But he won't be doing anything like that. The game is still, like, if you haven't been able to tell from every run that you've seen so far today, there's a lot of RNG in these games. So a lot of fights are super dangerous or super slow, or you have to wait and try to spark something very, very specific, or else you can't even continue or hope to continue. And so he will be utilizing manipulation wherever possible to make sure he gets everything he needs. And just like with everything else, you can quick save and all that jazz. So even if he happens to screw up, it's okay. So you're just one soft reset away from trying it again. It's no big deal. He should be hitting the magic shop at the first town here as soon as he can. He literally will not be using that spell at all. But it allows, I would guess, some extra bufferings. It just adds an extra cursor he has to scroll through, which will probably allow him to hit the right frames. Yeah, exactly. So, exactly. And instead of leaving it all to RNG and dying over and over and over again, you can just kind of guarantee that all the things that you want to happen happen. Don't worry though, if you like to see runners get owned by the game, you still get to see a lot of that. Just a little bit less. Okay, so that was a hard power off. But it looks like okay, yeah. So sorry about that. I was kind of trying to figure out what was going on. So the whole goal there is you have to find a specific gate. And I think it must be like random screen to screen, like you just have a certain shot at like transitioning to the next screen and then getting the exact gate that you want. And so without the manipulation that he used, he basically just prayed, whereas he knew exactly eventually that he was going to get it. And like, what was that, like 3 transitions or something like that? Sorry about that. Now, no manipulation here as far as enemy movement, so he's going to be dancing around as much as he needs to, just like the last time. It's also super important that you play on a specific console for this manipulation. As far as I understand, at the very least, playing on Virtual Console, since it runs at a different frame rate, you can't actually use any of the strategies Darko's using right now. But outside of that, if you're playing on SFC, maybe something else, then it's fine. He has notes on all this stuff too, if you're interested in picking up this game. It's definitely a dang good game, although you're going to have to deal with Japanese text, but the resources are there for sure. I mean, I'm sure everybody in chat wouldn't be a dirty V cheater anyway, so I guess I'm just giving, pointless commentary, but it is what it is. He should be hard resetting here too, for specific enemy movement. Okay, so 3 movements over, and then an A, and then a left down, and then an A, and then an A. Which should spark a big chop right here. We should be seeing a Shadow Bolt right here for 57, yeah. And then another dimensional chop there. So it's really important, not only are we getting specific abilities and specific damage numbers, but really importantly too, specific stat upgrades as well. Because again, and so I kind of mentioned it before, like a big reason outside of time loss why he doesn't want to fight anything extra is that it alters his stats. Like the manipulation is completely based on specific stat gains and whatnot, and it just ruins everything if you get some extras. So he's kind of just traveling between different places in the world map. He skips an event by doing some specific instances, but I can't quite catch what it is. And then he's going to be pushing on to learn about Undying Ifrit. And then he'll be soft resetting again pretty soon as well. Another thing to note about manipulation is not only is it frame perfect, it's also technically pixel perfect. And so if you want to perform a certain manipulation, you have to actually save on a very specific frame. It's not even just like moving perfectly or whatever. Yeah, this game was a very high mark across the board for Super Famicom in like graphics and mechanics. Like especially a lot of the ability animations, like they went pretty crazy on those, and a lot of them are very flashy and cool. And No games were really doing that at the time. So he's using the door to try to line up his pixel, and then he is going to be holding up to make sure he enters the building frame perfectly to enter this fight here. It looks like he might have messed up or something. But again, it's okay. With a quick save, you're just one try away. So, especially on that third character you saw, to get our certain sparks and whatnot, you saw that like he basically moved past the same menus over and over and the same cursors over and over again to make sure you hit a specific frame, even though you could have definitely gotten to the ability dimensional chop that you wanted as soon as you could, right? It just would have worked out differently based on the frame. Yeah, there's a number of things going on there. If I recall correctly, Darko's internet is not very high quality, and then whatever quality he's streaming at is then captured and then streamed to this channel. So it's it might be a little wonky, but it is what it is. I mean, it's definitely all watchable, so enjoy. There's really not much to say about that fight, like, almost literally the same thing. Pixel perfect, quick save, load. Literally hold your actions or buffer your actions. The fight will go a specific way. No big deal. So you should be talking to an NPC to pick up some money, and then he'll be doing another hard reset to manipulate enemy movement. Yeah, shoot. Dimensional Chop is a one-hit KO, yeah. I think it's just a safety quick save there. I don't know what the percentage is, to be honest. My guess would be you would continually reset over and over until it worked. So it wouldn't be super surprising if it were roughly 50, but I'm not totally sure, to be honest. So another soft reset there for fight manipulation. You're gonna see, surprise, surprise, another dimensional chop. And that one's an easy one to set up because the perfect pixel is right where the switch is anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird game, but like, I mean, they all were, really. All the SaGa games were, and I feel like this is kind of like the height, at the time at least, of like what SaGa games are all about. Just like weird stuff. NMG means no major glitches. It's a differentiation from the fact that there are major game-breaking glitches that allow you to do magical things, let's say. And he just specifically won't be doing any of those, but he might be still taking advantage of little exploits and things like that, including manipulation. So like even you might not consider manipulation like a glitch, but like when it comes to JRTA, like rules, if you will, or styles or whatever, like whenever they do a glitchless run, they tend to always ban manipulation as well. Not always, but they tend to go that direction. Anywho, buying a handful of potions. Looks like selling some of his items. I'm not sure if there's significance to the fact that he should have specifically 10,000 gold even, but it's pointed out in his notes, so I would assume that's important. And then he's just gonna buy some weapons as well. A saber, another axe, and then something else. Goes to the bottommost place, and then he should be hitting up Ifrit's house and then soft resetting. This one he's gonna hold A with the first two characters, and then you're gonna see 4 rights, 4 ups. And can you guess what ability is gonna get him through this battle? I'll give you a prize, because I know the answer is really hard. The answer was Dimensional Chop, if you didn't know. He's gonna talk, and then he's gonna say no, because he apparently wants to fight Ifrit. He'll do some specific equipping, and then we'll soft reset to make sure he can manipulate the Ifrit fight. It should be literally right next to the dude. Yeah, so like he uses the table and kind of brushes up against it to make sure he's like right on top of the table. I guess right up at the bottom of it, and right next to Ifrit. He does some equipping, and then we'll soft reset and make sure to auto enter the battle. Now, as you might have guessed, he probably can't dimensional chop this guy, so he'll be sparking Feint and Pine Chop, dynamic, whatever that is, to do 1101 damage. Yeah. From there, he should be sparking Imprison, which should paralyze him, and then he should also be sparking Unsheath Cut, I believe it's called, for 13-18 damage. Yeah. This is one of the first times you're seeing he has to frame perfectly enter all of these inputs multiple times instead of just one round. You know, this is 3 rounds of fighting. Oh look, he dimensional chop. It was all along, Con, the dimensional chop all along. tricked you. Tricked myself, too. Point being, that was, like, the only way to, like, make it work on the boss is to go through all that stuff. You potentially want those skills anyway, to be fair, but, you know. From there, he should be heading back to Undyne to recruit her, and then should be going on another boat ride. Let me read ahead so I don't debate myself and thus all of you. Yeah, so we won't be seeing a fight again until he gets to the desert. But since we have plenty of time now, can you guess what ability is going to get him through that battle? Sounds like you already mentioned it, dude. Katarina, I think so. She's a bodyguard, if I recall correctly. So she should be coming on with something strong, yeah. So here's our desert. He's going to head left or westward to find a specific NPC, and then head back out to the world map and come back. He's gonna do some menuing and then manipulate the next battle. And so even though we went several screens to just hit X to go out to back to the world map, so just super huge time saving. It's pretty cool. Completely built in. I mean, I'm not doing anything fancy or anything like that. And as you can see, the enemy movement's not really a big deal either. Yeah. Almost really, like, so like it's like fast return, like you can't go to new places like that, but yeah. So he's trying to line himself up with the little flower there, I think. And then he's changing up his order there, soft resetting. And then he should just be buffering to go down to get into the next fight. Yeah, here we go. Alright, we're about to get your answer for what gets him through this battle. After 14 downs. Oh look, dude, it's Dimensional Chop, dude. Who got it right? Who's keeping score right now? Alright, he's gonna be quick saving here. He's got to slog through this river. And again, enemy movement completely random, and there will be no manipulation here. So he's just gotta deal. But it looks like he just got caught that one time, so no big deal. Just gotta probably get past this one. Yeah, so he wants to see what that fish is doing. Almost got through, but still got caught. And remember, he'll be running from everything so as to not alter any of his stats. He may just get owned here. And it looks like he's opting for a load. So it's good. You're finally kind of seeing what random enemy movement can do to a speedrun. It's just like you can walk past, or maybe he can walk past with a little bit of buffering, maybe like one fight he has to run from. You could literally sit here forever in this narrow corridor because this fish is, being a doo-doo head. And there you go. And since he's essentially caught in the corridor, like even if he had run away, he'd instantly be back in the battle as soon as he left it. And that's why he has to load back up his save again. Because like there's no like refractory period or things like that where you can like run through the enemy after you run away, or it doesn't like load it back to its original position or things like that. It just literally stays where it is. Ooh, oh man. So he tried to jump into the menu there, and then it worked, but then still got caught immediately after. So this is just essentially the worst of what enemy movement can be like. Oftentimes you do have a lot more wiggle room. Still annoying, you still gotta do plenty of dancing and like pause buffering and things like that, but like you're seeing here, like you can just get straight owned. Once he does get past this, though, he will eventually get into his 9th manipulated battle. And I'm gonna give you some hints. It is not a one-round fight. Okay. What do you think finishes off the fight? You have a lot of time to think about it, probably, because fish are terrible. Any FF6 fans out there? Y'all know fish are terrible. Oh my goodness, he finally gets through. Vanished him, that's a good guess. First try. See, so like with the wider berth that you have here, it's like, obviously he could still have gotten owned with 2 fish there, but for the most part, it's not so bad. And he should be through now. And one of the biggest issues of that, of course, is your limited movement speed in the water. So as you can see, it's a lot, even though these corridors are fairly narrow, it's still easier to dance around. Oh, nice. So with the pause buffering, not only do you get to see what they're about to do and kind of plan your attack, you also kind of get like that just little bit of like head start to move past them. It's super useful. It's heavily used here. If you were here for SaGa Frontier 2, it gets used quite a bit there as well. And menu buffering, you can't pause in SaGa Frontier 1, I don't think. But menu buffering does get used for encounters from time to time as well, so you might see that tomorrow. Abrupt biome change, yes. It's Oasis time. So he should be recruiting a character as well. I think it's the girl there on the left. And then he'll get out of here by mashing X to get back to the Oasis area. Should be hitting a cave where he'll be menuing the new character to remove her stuff. And he should be doing some item management as well by moving a potion to the top. From there, it looks like he should be quick saving and then soft resetting for the fight that I warned you about. So he's cool with the run here, no worries. But if he gets stuck on these dudes, he might, I can't remember if he quick saved or not, but he might be loading out so as not to get repetitively owned. Okay, so he's just waiting them out. Yeah, so you're seeing another one of those narrow corridors, right? So he's going to save outside of it, just in case he gets stuck in there. Ideally, maybe trying to pull that wolf or dog or whatever out of the way. Yep. And then that way you can save right in front of this guy, and then manipulate the fight. So this is a 2-rounder. You're going to see one of the longer input manipulations here for his third character. Okay, should have sparked a Hurricane Sword there, 977, and then a big chop here. Okay, same deal here, 2 to the right, 1 down, and then 10 downs. Which should give us a Shadow Bolt and another Hurricane Sword. Alright, who guessed Dimensional Chop, dude? You're wrong. Went to the well one too many times, everybody fails. I know you all guessed that, I know you did. Y'all have to retake the test. One of the important things there is he gets a permanent Hurricane Sword there. Or rather, he masters Hurricane Sword. Excuse me. And you should probably be seeing a trend at this point in time, so... this is most certainly not the only game to make use of this kind of frame manipulation. Plenty of games use it. Since it was brought up in chat, even Chrono Trigger is a big time frame-based RNG manipulated run. Not necessarily frame-perfect, but the fastest strats definitely use pretty small windows. Anywho, he should be getting an Imprison, Confused, Hurricane Sword, and then a big chop. So we've moved past the Dimensional Chop. You should be seeing a lot of Hurricane Swords for a little while. And one of the other things you're seeing too is oftentimes on these fights that are I'm gonna use the term prolonged, as in like more than one round. You'll also see him pretty much every time so far, at least, prevent the enemy from ever attacking him. So on other ones, he used to paralyze on a couple of ones, and this time he confused the boss, so at no point in time was he in danger at all. Okay, once he gets out of here, he'll head to town, sell some stuff, hit the next trigger. Prolonged as in more than one round. Thought I said that, but maybe I didn't. And hey man, you leave mothers out of this, dude. That's not cool. That's a ban next time, dude. Catching up on a little bit of chat. So yeah, on the Game Boy, it was SaGa 1, 2, and 3, but they got relabeled for us, Final Fantasy Legend. We just straight up didn't get Romancing SaGa games at all from there. And then we got SaGa Frontier and onwards from there. Looks like he'll be removing one of Katarina's spells. And then just another instance of mashing X to get back to where you were instead of having to walk. Oh yeah, you're right. RS2 did come out here way later, didn't it? My bad. Alright. He'll be preparing for the 11th manipulated fight. I'll just tell you right now, it's not dimensional chop. Okay, but what ability do you think's gonna get used a lot? I'll let you think about that. So you're seeing on those occasions where he probably should have gotten an encounter, as long as he can quickly enough get into the menu, then he can back out of it and then allow the enemy to walk by. Now in this cave, the extra challenge here is that these birds run faster than he does, and so he has to be fairly good about his movement. You're not going to outrun anybody, so you're going to have to out-juke. And even then, even with the juke, you saw they just straight caught up to him. It's going to happen from time to time because they move so fast. And I think about it like if you're in the ancient cave at all, I think it's like the bees that move like 2 squares per your 1. Or maybe it's also like those samurai things, or I don't know. But there are enemies out there that move 2 for 1 on you, and so they, you're not going to outrun anybody. You are going to just have to strategically plan your movement, but also get super lucky. So here he's equipping a little bit of gear. He moves some not spells, like skills. And then did some healing. Switched up his order a little bit. Should be resetting here. And then we'll be buffering left to hit the next fight. The first set of inputs should go pretty quick here. So we should be seeing a Hurricane Sword, just did, Shadow Bolt for 0, and then Pine Chop, Dynamic, and then a Tornado against this suit of armor, I guess. And you've probably noticed he's using more characters now, so there's just more inputs he's got to buffer and make sure he does correctly. Just 2 Hurricane Swords, a Tornado, and an Unsheath Cut should be happening next. And then after the second round, it will just be one person that kills him. And as I mentioned before, it's not Dimensional Chop. I think those days are over. Which is cool. You don't want to go to the well too much. And I could be wrong. I'm not reading ahead by a whole lot. It's like half a page at a time, so. But right now, it seems like Hurricane Sword is like the move of choice right now. They should be recruiting May. And then I think now he's at the like Fire Palace or Fire Castle, something like that. After several screens, he'll be equipping Nora, and then he will be manipulating his 12th fight. And it will be a 1-rounder. Yeah, I mean, I really can't hate on a time-saving and money-saving tactic. It's all in-house. It's all kind of like mundane stuff, like cursor sounds. Like, I don't care, yeah. Obviously, it's still their own graphics and music and all that, so, and gameplay. That's the important stuff. Looks like he tried to pull the goblin out of the way, but then the other one C-blocked him real quick. Yeah, so there's the Nora equipment. And from there, he had to make sure he could find his pixel without getting those encounters. So that was actually kind of like a rough spot to be in, but it worked out for sure. So this might not have been the first time it's happened, it's just one of the first times I've noticed where, again, to get specific frames, he actually it confirmed an action and then actually backed out to the previous person and confirmed another action, a different action, just to make sure it was the correct frame. Here you should have seen Thunderclap, Pine Chop, and Tornado. The Thunderclap took out most of the enemies. And then he'll start heading to the boss. So there should be healing right before he gets to the boss. And then changing up his order a little bit. Assuming he doesn't get epic stuck on these encounters. Because remember, there are those 2 goblin-looking things, like, right on him. Yeah, he's fine. Okay, this will be a full-on boss. So all that really means is it's going to be more than one turn. Okay, that's all. I believe this is the Hydra. Where's my boy Alex at? Hail Hydra. Enemies aren't invisible based on pause. They actually just kind of go in and out of like being a shadow on the ground and seeing them. That's just something they do. It just so happens you're seeing that transition a lot when he pauses. Or that. I mean, I guess what I said wasn't wrong, but I definitely was way more vague. Thank you very much for that. Anyway, back to the fight. It's a 2-rounder. Should have done about a little over 3,000 damage. Hydra does get healed, though. I guess it's kind of just like, I wonder if it's just like hard to appreciate what's going on, you know? Kind of just looks like he's just doing things and winning. And a lot of that just comes down to like front end work, you know? Research, like people had to find manipulations to make this possible. And like that's where a lot of the hard work and routes and stuff like that come from. Obviously executing it is important too, like, I don't mean to take away from that, but like, you know, the ease by which he's progressing is made possible by a lot of hard work on the front end. Yeah, we will be cutting stream after this game. Day 1 will be over, we'll be starting day 2. And the first game of day 2 will be grand stream, yeah, and it will be occurring around noon Eastern. So I guess my main point is like, this game is not easy. You get owned a lot, especially if you have no idea what's going on. And so you just need to know, like, the reason he can do this is because of all the manipulation that was found and then executing that manipulation frame perfectly. Which sounds cool. I mean, in some cases, you need to do a lot. Other cases, it's a lot of buffering. So we saw 2 attacks from the boss that Katarina dodges, and then we see a Pine Chop, Thunderclap, and a Tornado. Again, a lot of the same high damage ability that they have. And, you know, I mentioned it before, but, like, since it was late in the game, you know, you're seeing a lot of what Square was able to start doing with graphically. Crazy backgrounds, like, really cool spell animations, really complex systems. Maybe a little too complex, but, you know, whatever. It's fine. Everything's fine. Just because someone's dead and everybody's low on HP doesn't mean anything, you know? It's all carefully routed. You're seeing a lot of abilities that he has, and also a lot of repels to do extra damage. In fact, it repels what's going to kill the boss this round. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to see most of that, like, cool, interesting, story-based things. You're just going to kind of shove right through the game. I think it's legitimately like 5 or 6 characters tops that he gets, including the characters that he starts with. I could be wrong about that, but it is a very, very small list of characters that he picks up for sure. And he should have all of them, I think, except for maybe one. Yeah, nothing in this marathon is 5 hours. Our longest runs are roughly 4 hours. SaGa Frontier 2 went a little over, I think it was like 424 or something, 428. And they even had a 4-hour estimate. And then I think Grand Stream, I haven't changed the estimate, but LCC shouldn't go over like 4 or 405. There are a fair bit of SNES RPGs, at least. Most of them are not very long, unless you like actively make them longer, like Hundos and things like that. SNES RPGs tend to be a lot shorter. Now, when you start getting into those disc-based RPGs, then who knows, man? But yeah, it's not about could have or would have, it's about what gets submitted, so. So he's traversing the mountain right now. He should be hitting a dragon eventually. And once he reaches that dragon, he will be soft resetting for his 15th manipulated fight. Remember, these birds are faster than him, so he's got to be pretty careful and pretty lucky about it. It's actually been a really long time since I've watched this game. Honestly, I think literally the last time I saw anyone speedrun this game was SaGa 2016. It's been a nice revisit. This game, it's got the good aesthetics. There's one thing you can say about SaGa games, man. They look good and they sound good. I suppose it's debatable how well they play, depending on who you talk to, but it's good stuff. Yes, that was with Aether in the definitely not safe marathon route. Which, as you can see, there's really, for the most part, no choice for most SaGa games as far as marathon safety or lack thereof. Outside of games you can manipulate, like this one or like SaGa 1. I mean, I guess SaGa 2 and 3 are fairly safe as well. SaGa 2 for sure. Like Arsenal Control, well, you will eventually get them. Even today, with a wacky category, you still eventually get them, right? Alright, so there's our dragon. I did remember him cutting his hair, yeah. I think I'm the only long hair boy left. Opus cut his hair, Deuce cut his hair, Aether cut his hair. That's not, I guess Magus has his hair still. Alright, so it's epic boss fight time. So you should be seeing some smaller numbers on that first round, all triple digits, but you should be reflecting a 9999, yeah. And see ya, phase 1. Looks like we'll be seeing a lot of that. Yeah, so he's actively reflecting this skill, and that's killing every form right now. So this is just definitely another one of those situations where you might have the setup for that reflect and everything, right? But there's no controlling that he's gonna do it. You might have to deal with all kinds of stuff, unless, of course, you're manipulating, so easy every time. Every time he's doing that ability, Katarina just counterattacks for 9999. And that's, like, not a free boss, like, at all. Like that is one of the scariest parts that for Aether 2 years ago. Let me look up a translation. So it's the boss's beak ability, apparently. And the reflection does 9999. Which is funny to me. So it looks like the manipulation is a beak first turn to reflect, and then getting the boss to berserk himself, and then continually reflecting that physical attack back every time. Alright, so he should be hitting the Devil Palace now. Should be shuffling some skills around when he's ready, then he'll manipulate his 16th Fright. Just remember, every time for manipulation, it is a soft reset. The only time he'll use hard powers is if he wants to manipulate enemy movement, but for the most part, he's always going to try dancing. Kind of think of it like the flame house with the bombs in FF6, except for every dungeon. Looks like he's trying to bait them out so he can get over to the east stairway. And yeah, looks like it worked just fine. Just gotta do a little loop-de-loop there. And then he should be manipulating Arrakes or something like that. It will be a long fight, it looks like. Looks like he's having to deal with small corridors again, so he's just gonna keep resetting until he gets something favorable. Bait this guy out. Get him out of the stairway. Hopefully he can... Oh, dude. Jacked right at the end. Yeah, there you go. So you should be saving basically right in front of the mouth entrance here. He will do his menuing and then basically shifting some gear around and his formation. And he will be resetting and then holding up. So all the text advancing needs to happen frame perfectly as well. Most times you can just hold down your button. Sometimes you have to be careful about when you have to confirm something, though. And it's boss time. So what we should be seeing first is manipulation so that the boss does not hit him. He's casting Shadow Servant there. And we should be seeing a 0 and a miss. That's going to go ahead and keep him safe. And then we'll see a Pine Chop for 1233. From here, you should see something fairly familiar. So here, he's just kind of reflecting back the attack, and then Shadow cloning it, I guess. And then we should see an Chief Cut there. So from the manipulation, what you're going to see here is the boss doing a lot of physicals from here on out. That K here can reflect twice over. Okay, I want you to wash damage here for this next round. Not the one he's currently on, but after he puts in his next set of inputs. Just pay some careful attention, please. I don't want you to miss it. Boom. Okay, that's all. I just thought y'all would appreciate it. The best part of it is it's like super bold and like highlighted on Darko's notes. Because Darko's a meme lord. Oh man, SK and his wifey are a super cute couple. Hashtag goals. I got two choices in my life: to be a gamer like Darko, or to be in a expert relationship like SK. I opted for goal 3, which is be an idiot. Not sure I made the right choice. Okay, next he'll be hitting the underwater area. And I believe he'll be fighting Fornius, the fight I think y'all in chat brought up earlier. So I don't think we got any expert pirate action going on, but yeah, it's water time. My bad, Cross. Let's talk about Sonata and Kota Ibushi. Yeah, same. I need to watch. Actually, no, I need to watch night 8, 9, and 10 still. Or do I? I don't remember. It all runs together, dude. Everybody wrestles everybody every night. I can't even keep up anymore. Anyway, while that gets figured out, it's boat time. We're going to crab territory, or were we already just in crab territory? I got wrestling on my mind now. I'm all screwed up. This music though. Underwater Palace, let's go. I think Zedna is like all up in wrestling still. I miss that dude. I haven't talked to him in at least a year. Alright, so all he needs to do is, I mean, there's just not a lot to say, I guess, like, still dodging encounters, and he's got to do that on his own, you know, no manipulation. He just wants to reach the boss. Looks like he's gonna switch out some armors and accessories. And he will soft reset in the entrance to where Fornius is at, and then he'll buffer holding up to talk to him. And then we'll be getting another boss fight. Dude, you got the flowing water and the reflections and stuff, too? That's sick. I know y'all were mentioning it earlier. There's definitely something about late-gen games, like some of the later RPGs like this for SNES, or let's say like Phantasy Star 4 for Genesis, or whatever. Like, man, they can do a lot with these freaking quote-unquote limited technologies. Yeah, exactly, Google. Like, they can like make real water in games now, I'm sure. I'm sitting here like, look at this 16-bit water, it's so good. So it looks like you're kind of just going around, hitting a lot of different palaces and gates, like sealing them, I think. So he's in the water one right now. And then I believe he needs to start working his way towards being the Holy King. Sealing stuff, all that jazz. So here's his quick save. Let's see what happens here. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5-round fight, one of the longest fights. Or is it 4 rounds? That's hard. Anyway, one of the longest fights we'll be seeing, or have seen so far. You could probably guess a lot of where the damage is going to come from. The theme has not been the same across the entire run, right? But the theme tends to be the same. Whoa. In your face. Theme tends to be the same, at least, across multiple battles. So you guys can probably figure out a lot of what's going to happen on this fight. Looks like he messed up, so he'll just reset it and try again. So manipulation not only makes it predictable and fast, it's also like you have built-in safety, because you, as part of manipulation, you save and load, right? So the fact that you can save anywhere is super key. Four-dimensional jobs, yes. We don't even have that guy anymore, and haven't had him for a while, but, you know, we'll still do it. So yeah, they'll be opening with Shadow Servants. Should not be surprising. And then Nora will be doing some of her better abilities, like Unsheath Cuts and Pine Chops. Yeah, this is Fornius here. So you should see a reflection of like 3,000 damage here. Yeah. And it's funny because part of the reason, you know, if you've been watching, you've seen plenty of opportunities where your bosses take multiple actions, but every time he takes an action, he just takes more damage because of all the reflection. And the manipulation is in place to make sure that's pretty much what he does every single time. I believe so, Crow. I don't know for sure, but he definitely hasn't done anything strong himself, so I would guess so. Okay, this round will do it. This speedrun truly teaches you about insanity, you know? Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. On both ends, you know, the boss keeps hitting himself, acting like it's gonna do anything. And, you know, Darko's doing the exact same thing every round too. Everybody loses. So I actually have the timer completely blocked, but looking at the notes, we're like probably like 2/3 of the way through as far as amount of notes left. Time-wise, it might be well past that. I don't know. I'm a one monitor pleb, so. Yeah, the problem is that this one monitor is 30 inches. And I thought that'd be cool. Then, like, I thought that would be a lot cooler than my two tiny monitors, but I was wrong. It's still one monitor. It doesn't matter how big that one monitor is. You really just want a second monitor. I don't know. It was free. And it's huge, and I'm an American, you know, bigger the better. It's a life lesson. It's a life lesson. Let it be known, one big monitor doesn't equate to two monitors. Two monitors is the life. Alright, should be buying a spell if I didn't miss it already. It kind of translates to quick time. I don't know how accurate that translation is, but it should guarantee that he gets to act first. And he should be heading to Kanji Castle. Yo, it's an army battle! All you Suikoden fans out there, just understand the army battles in this game are terrible. Not in Suikoden, in this game. Did you guys see that expert strategy where he just ran away and lost? Hell yeah. See ya. And this is unmanipulated because he has no chance to save and reset. The loss of the battle. Whoa. But he reset anyway. Now I'm confused. But there's supposed to be no manipulation because you don't get a chance to menu at all between losing the army battle and fighting the boss. I guess he must have made a mistake and thus had to reload. My impression is that it's just way easier and way faster to lose this army battle and then fight the boss. Agreed, 5 is good. You could probably guess the strategy, though. There's going to be some reflection involved. But because this is an unmanipulated battle, he has no idea what stat upgrades he's going to get for Katarina specifically. And if you're going to have a variable amount of stats, obviously you can't use consistent manipulation. So after reflecting damage twice, he is going to kill off Katarina to make sure she doesn't gain anything extra. And this will be a completely random battle. He has no control over this one. So maybe you'll get a real taste of, like... I mean, probably not, because it's still fairly straightforward. So he's gonna quick time. He's then gonna make sure he reflects at least 2 attacks, which so he has right there. And then he's gonna get himself killed. He didn't even get himself killed. His notes are a lie. Now I'm a liar. Frickin' Darko, dude. Making me look foolish. I can do that on my own, man. The ultimate troll, dude. Anyway, I'm gonna be removing some options from slots. I would guess because to have less cursors to scroll through. And then it's time for his 19th manipulated fight. And I know you guys will be so happy to see what's gonna happen right here. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Have you seen this move? It's called Dimensional Chop, dude. It's so good. Have you guys heard of that one? Anyway, here's the next one. Let me see if you recognize this strategy too. Oh, dude, it's Dimensional Chop again. Oh man. Why did it even go away? Like, this is just poor routing, dude. You should just Dimensional Chop through the whole game, obviously. Oh man, it's too funny to me. Okay, Dimensional Chop over right now. We're gonna fall back to one of our other strategies. Yo. Are you seeing these reflections? Why do anything in the battle when the enemies do all the work for you? You can probably tell this is a full-on battle rush. And he's just gonna kind of sit in the tiles right next to the battle triggers, and then save and reload, and then start up the manipulated battle. So all he has to do is hold A, and he'll activate the battle on the first possible frame. So again, quote-unquote frame perfectly, which it is, but by buffering. This is a 3-round fight, but the strategy is simple. It's mostly reflect damage. We had like a long, more than an hour hiatus from Dimensional Chop. It made a quick comeback just to make sure we all knew it was still relevant, and then it's gone again. And then he apparently made a mistake, so he will be resetting. How was the boss battle manipulated? So the RNG is frame based, but if you can play consistently enough to activate the battle in the same frame every time and put in your inputs at the same frame every time, then the same actions will occur every single time. And so what has been done routing-wise is they have found specific frames that are desirable and then found good, consistent ways to buffer those inputs to make sure those inputs get put in on the specific frame every time. That's why he's like specifically like cycling through his windows and cursor every single time. And that way the actions occur in a favorable manner and he gets through very easily, because he's honestly in a point where like, I mean, he should be getting wiped by like everything, but it don't matter because he's equipped with ways to deal with what they do, and since he's manipulated, they're going to do what he wants them to do every time. Dimensional Chop is the Brock Lesnar of SaGa. Rarely seen and highly effective. I feel that, Crow. I only played one specifically manipulated game. That was Legend 1. And it's different. I don't know if it's my preferred method, but it's a nice change of pace to me. But I hear you. So anyway, that was an all reflection fight. Alright. Just pay attention to this one. I think you'll like it. Yo! Thought we were done, huh? Right when you're ready to give up, we gain hope again. Thank you, Dimensional Chop. I think, personal opinion, this game's a nice mix though. Like, you're still doing all the encounter dodging yourself, you're doing all the menuing, you know, and then, you know, it's either you script the battle or you don't even make it through the battle. So I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of down with it. I think this is Abisu. And surprise, surprise, we should see a reflection. Yo, his soul is his, dude. Shang Tsung, the boss battle. Alright, boys and girls, we are getting towards the end here. Alright, so that's a little heal up right there. And then he will be fighting the next boss here. Let me see what's going on here. I think this battle will be a little bit more to what you might be used to or what you're kind of been seeing. The actual taking of damage and losing LP, but also doing crazy damage to the boss and things like that. He's like not invincible anymore, at least for what this fight looks like, but the way he's going to deal lots of damage should look very familiar to you. Yes, that is correct, Tim. If you haven't noticed, we're kind of in like this epic fight slash boss rush. She should be buffing herself. And then someone should be losing Nora should be losing LP here, yeah. See ya. And oh look, it's a reflect. We saw that coming, besides everybody. Our girl down there, or guy, I can't tell, should be going down. One-on-one, Breath of Fire 2 style. Where's my man Genya at? This is how you go one-on-one with the Great One. Oh look, the boss did all the damage to itself. Who was surprised? I know all y'all thought it was Dimensional Chop, but I mean, we're trying to put together a multi-dimensional route here, dude. So just take it easy. Okay, we got one fight left, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed the ride. Romancing SaGa 3, dancing around encounters, doing some hot menuing, and then manipulating the crap out of bosses to or fights in general, to either dimensional chop them to death, or to have them punch themselves to death. Hell yeah. If that ain't a hot speedrun, then I don't know what is. Shoutouts to people who actually want to sit down and route out frames, because I would never, ever do that. Now, the Destroyer. Without RNG manipulation, there's just certain different things that you do, and you might have to restart battles, retry battles, but it's doable, but it's definitely like more than an hour longer. And sometimes you just get owned anyway. Probably more than sometimes. Yeah, I think you get owned most of the time, but you know. So this is the last run of day one. We will be cutting stream after this, but we will be resuming tomorrow. This is the last boss. Check it. It's time to two-man. Alright, so Shadow Servant. And then we should be seeing a dodge. Oh, no, we didn't see a dodge. And hence the reset. Alright, round two. No problem. Okay, Shadow Servant. So lets you kind of double up on your actions, is what it seems like. And then, yep, so we learn dodge there, and then we should be doing 400 damage here, right? And then... oh look! It's a reflection, dude. Another standard attack here. Okay. So I kind of want to shout out Darko real quick, because what you're seeing here are the things, like, even though boss battles are scripted, you do have to remember that you need to play frame perfectly every time. As soon as you make one mistake, even if you put in the correct commands from there, like if you're off the frame, then it doesn't matter at all. The whole thing is just screwed up. So he has to, every single turn, know exactly what input commands to do, and he has to do them perfectly. And as soon as he messes up, he'll know, because the boss will do something that shouldn't have happened. So even if, like, he did that turn and he still survived and all that, like, it doesn't matter, because it's all off the rails from there. And so, let me see here. So this is a 10-round fight. He has not had a battle more than 4 or 5, just for you to kind of put that into context. So this is twice as long as anything that he's had to deal with. He has to do 10 rounds of inputting his commands perfectly. Nah, y'all need to have more faith. Y'all need to have more faith. If people can race something like Mystic Quest, you can race Legendary. Y'all are gonna be just fine. I believe. So that was the 4th round. And he should be reflecting 5,000 damage twice here to finish the round. People definitely have their favorite sagas. You just kind of gotta understand, like, just how different they are and how not hand-holdy they are at all. They can be kind of tough to deal with. But once you kind of figure it out, at least, like, somewhat, then they can be really cool. SaGa Frontier... I almost said it was my first, but I did play Legend 3, I just had no idea it was SaGa. But I guess technically that was my first one. Okay, so this is the 9th round. Remember, 10 rounds. So he's definitely hanging in there right now. You got the wave. You should see 2 reflections as well. Okay, so 3064, the boss will change form 2 times, apparently. And then he'll be hitting the 10th round as soon as all this fancy shenanigans finishes up. It's a nice, easy hold A to start, so as long as he's doing that, he's good to go. And this boss is about to be done. Should be sparking, and then 1698 damage. And there you go. Southern Cross, I think that was. I assume he wants to go all JRTA on us, so I don't know. Didn't even de-chop the boss, though. It's kind of disappointing. But otherwise, good run, y'all. Good run. That's Darko RTA. Darko_RTA. He, I believe, has speedrun over 100 games. So if you like no mic runners who are good at their games and who also enjoys anime waifus greatly, then Darko is your man for sure. Yes, formerly Darko Mega Magic, and Darko Re, and now Darko_RTA. If y'all weren't aware, we're JRTAing it up. Power on to the end. That's why the timer's still going. And we don't want day one to end, so we'll just hang out a little bit longer. I think something like another 8 minutes or something like that. Yeah, I guess still overestimate, but I mean, every run went overestimate today, so I mean, what am I gonna do? Single Darko out and make him look like a fool for going underestimate? Like, come on. Come on. I would never do that. If there's one thing we're all about here for SaGa speedrunning, it's consistency. Yo, it's the snowman! Frickin' bleak, dude. At least Darko did bleak skip. I don't know why all these other DKC runners complain all the time. I don't think Darko had any issues with skipping the snowman. Nice double X strike. It's cross slash. My bad. If you're not sure what we're waiting for as far as the ending, we're waiting for the music to end to signify the true end. Right now, which is right now. We did it, y'all. 21040 JRTA. Okay, that's gonna do it for us for day one. So thank you all very much for enjoying the first half of SaGa 2018 with us. We will be back tomorrow in roughly 12 hours, a little bit less. And if you want to bring up the schedule for yourself one last time, you'll see that we got such games as Grand Stream SaGa, Final Fantasy Legends 3, Romancing SaGa 3 again, but this time we will be seeing all the game-breaking glitches. SaGa Frontier, one specific scenario, which is blues. And of course, the second round of the best game of all time, Unlimited SaGa, this time with Laura's scenario as opposed to Judy. So please be ready to come back to us at noon Eastern. LCC is going to kick it off for us. And I hope you hang out with us for day two, just like day one. Hope you had fun. If I'm on my game at all, I will highlight today's runs tonight or something like that. Quick shout out before we leave. Thank you very much to El Magus and Kishura for restreaming. And thank you all for the runners today. I know some things didn't go as planned, but I feel like y'all showed off some great games. So good night, y'all, and we'll see you tomorrow.